our actual lesson. And what we're going to do is just do a little warm up with gradients. I wonder, I've actually put it up, so that gave it away. But the gradient formula, or how we calculate gradient, we do the change in y over the change in x. So the y's must always be at the top and the x's are at the bottom. To refresh your memory, because you've done gradients before in grade 9 and in grade 10, if you've done analytical geometry, I'm just going to do the first one with you, which is AB. So here is A and there's B. Let's highlight it so it's just a little bit clearer on the screen. And we're going to do change in y over change in x. So we're going to take 7 minus the other y value at point B, which is minus 2. So if you are subtracting, a few tips with gradient calculations: when you are subtracting, put whatever you're subtracting into brackets. And then we're going to do the x's, minus 8 over minus, I need to move this up, minus 8 over minus 5. Okay, and that gives us 7 plus 2 is 9, and then minus 8 plus 5 is minus 3, and we simplify that. 9 over negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, so important when you do your gradient, if you are saying, if you're using the y coordinate at A first, like we did here, and you go A minus B, then your x's must also follow that same order, A minus B. You can't then change the order around. It can't be B minus A. So you have to be consistent with your order. Okay, right. Let's do the next one, which is CD. Do that one on your own. I'm going to give you a minute to do that one, and then pop your answer in the chat when I call for answers. Okay, so don't pop answers in the chat yet, just when I call for them. We'll check back in about 1 minute. Yes, Niasha. Hi, Niasha, I can hear you.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
According to gradient of vertical and horizontal lines, they'll also be undefined, right?
Sorry, just repeat that because you broke up.
So according to gradient of vertical and horizontal lines, the answer could also be undefined. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, but that's for vertical and horizontal lines, so we're not doing those now. We're just doing these ones. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me maybe do this. Let me actually move this here, and then we can do that. Okay. Okay, so pop your answer in the chat if you've got the gradient of CD. Okay, so we are going to say 0 minus the negative 9 over 0 minus 3. And that gives me 9 over negative 3, which is also negative 3. Okay, good stuff. Carry on. Let's do EF as well. And as soon as you have an answer, pop it in the chat. Ms. Coco, could you maybe assist Watobe with audio? Okay, so some of us are getting 5/2, some of us are getting 2/5. Let's see what it is. So for EF, we can go 6 minus minus 4 over minus 4 minus minus 8. And that gives me 10/4, which is 5/2. Remember, your y's go at the top and your x's go at the bottom. And if you simplify to 2.5, that is fine too. Okay, let's do one more question. Let's do 2.1.4 GH. What is the gradient of GH? Pop your answer in the chat when you're done. Remember to simplify. And we get again -3. Okay, good stuff. Well done, everybody. Okay, so that's just a little warm-up exercise on gradients so that we can remind ourselves how to calculate the gradient and how all of that works. And then, like Niasha said, you can also have horizontal and vertical lines. For a vertical line, the gradient is undefined, and for a horizontal line, it is 0. Okay, now let's have a look at these two lines here. And I want you to calculate the gradient of CD and the gradient of AB. When you have your answers, pop them in the chat. Gradient of CD and the gradient of AB. Work it out and pop it in the chat. Make sure you've got the answers for both CD and AB before you pop your answers in the chat. Okay, so Sino and Simologo, everyone says it equals 9. Gradients equal 9. Let's see, 5 minus minus 4. Remember to carry on putting your answers in the chat. 5 minus minus 9 and minus 1 minus minus 2. And that is 9 over 1. And that is 9. And then if we do AB, we go 8 minus minus 1 and 3 minus 2, And that gives me 9/1, which is 9. So yeah, indeed, the two lines both have the same gradient. And what do we know about lines that have the same gradient? Does anyone know? If the gradients are the same, what can we say about those two lines? Does anyone know? Pop it in the chat if you think you know, or raise your hand if you want to. Oh, they are parallel. Well, look at these guys, Miss Coco. That was so clever tonight. That is correct. So if the gradients are the same, then the lines are parallel. That's right. Okay. So here at the start of the question, it actually said prove that AB is parallel to CD. And that means when we are proving that lines are parallel, we need to prove that the gradients are the same. Okay, well done. Excellent. Let's go on to the next question. Again, two lines. We have AC and DB. And again, I want you to calculate the gradient of DB and the gradient of AC. And if you maybe don't know what it means when lines are perpendicular, remember it means that they meet at a right angle. So perpendicular lines meet at a right angle. But don't worry about that yet. I just want you to calculate the gradients of DB and AC. Just listen up, everyone. We do need to just make a quick correction here. Point D, the coordinates must be -6 and 10. Okay.
Sorry, Miss Mary, it's the other way around. So 10 and 1. Yeah. Otherwise, it might not work.
Oh, 10 and 1.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Can I double check? Please give me 1 second.
Sorry, guys, we just noticed that there's something wrong with the question, so we'll be with you right now.
Yes, so the X value needs to be 10 and the Y value needs to be
for DB.
For DB, yes. For the point D, we need to have 10 and 1. Yeah.
Okay. Right, guys, so we just made a correction there with the coordinates for D. D is 10 and 1, and B is 2 and 2. So just calculate DB again if you've done so already. But I see some people are doing AC first, so hopefully no one's gotten to DB yet. Okay, so some people are saying that just double check that you are now working with the right coordinates for DB. It's 10 and 1. We changed it because there was a mistake. So just double check. But it looks like everyone's agreeing that AC is 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 1. So that's 8/1, and that's 8. Okay, and then for DB, we go 1 minus 2 and 10 minus 8. 10 minus 2. So it's -1/8. Okay, guys, just double check. DB's coordinates are 10 and 1, and you should get a gradient of -1 and 8. And this one is the gradient for AC is 8. Okay, so what do we notice here? We have a gradient of -1 and 8 and a gradient of 8 for these two lines. What do we notice about those two numbers? It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because we have an 8 and a -1/8. So how can we, what do we notice here? Does anyone want to put their hand up and tell me, what do you notice with the gradients of the lines? The one is 8 and the other one is -1/8. What do you notice? They won't necessarily bisect each other. What do you guys notice about the two numbers? I mean, they're quite interesting numbers, actually. 8 and -1/8. Sintwala, you are right. The lines are perpendicular, but why are they perpendicular? Not all lines with gradients that aren't equal are perpendicular, hey? Ah, nice, Vukile. I like that word. They're reciprocal. That is the word I was looking for. Well done, Vukile. Reciprocal. So if we look at the number 1/8 and 8, those two numbers are reciprocals, and then the -1/8 is also a negative reciprocal of the 8. Okay, so reciprocal means that it's the number, and it's, someone also used the word inverse. It's not quite inverse, it's the reciprocal, it's that number as 1 over itself. Kinsani is asking that I must increase the font. Okay, so the reciprocal, so if we look at the two, -1/8 and 8. And also, if we take those numbers and we multiply them together, what do we get? What do we get when we multiply -1/8 and 8 together? Put it in the chat if you know. It's not hard. You get -1, that's right. Okay. And what does that mean about the lines? Now we get to the fact. What does it mean about the two lines? If you have this situation where the product of the two numbers are -1, where you take the gradients and you multiply them together and you get -1, what do you know about the lines? They are perpendicular. Lovely. Well done, Amukelani and Sibabale and Reachile. Yeah, so if we multiply the gradients together and we get -1, it means they are perpendicular. So in this red bubble here, I wrote these two very important characteristics of lines for you, and you're welcome to take a screenshot. So if they are parallel, the gradients are equal, and if the lines are perpendicular, then multiply together, you get -1, and you have that situation with the gradient, and it's reciprocal, it's negative reciprocal. Okay, I'm going to stay here for 20 seconds if you want to take a screenshot, and then we're going to go on. Hi, Bom. You can unmute.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi there.
Ma'am, ma'am, hi, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. For the gradient of AC, ma'am, I didn't get 8. I got -8 because I didn't use, like, I changed my x, y's.
Okay.
Is it still got -8?
So you went the other way around. So you went -3 -5 over 1 - 2. That gives you -8 at the top and -1 at the bottom, and that's going to simplify to 8. So I think you just made a mistake somewhere with the forgetting to divide the minuses.
Okay.
Okay, good. Right. Let's carry on. Let's practice what we've just learned about the parallel and the perpendicular lines. So I want you to do question A. And what we are going to do is we're going to calculate the gradients, and we're going to say if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay. And I think what we can do to make this go a bit quicker, everyone whose first name starts with A to, let me think, where's a third of the way through the alphabet? That must be K.
K,
A
yeah,
to K,
Oh,
you're
must
going to
be
do
J,
question A.
Mhm.
And then L to, let's just make it P. You can do question B. And then everyone else who's remaining, Q to Z, you can do C. Okay. So if your name starts with A to K, you're doing question A. If your name starts with L to P, then you're doing question B. And if your name starts with Q to Z, you can do question C. Right, off we go. Let's give 3 minutes for that, because I don't think it's going to take that long. And then be ready to share with us what you calculated as well. I'm going to call on some people to give us some answers. All right. So we're going to check back in here at about 17:53. Danilo, you're saying the formulas are different. I'm wondering, let us know which formulas you think are different so that we can clarify. One more minute. Nice, Medine. Let's just wait one more minute for everyone else. I wonder if that's Chantal instead of Medinio. Okay, right, guys, time is up. Let's have a look. Who's going to do this first question for us? The gradient of AB and CD. Looks like Bonolo. Oh, Eunice put her hand up. Okay, well done. Eunice, let's hear from you.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
So the gradient of AB, I got -4/3
Yeah.
using the formula. And
Yeah.
then the gradient of CD, I got also I got 4/3 for the gradient of CD.
Okay. Let's see if that was right. So the gradient of AB, we say is 4/3, and then CD should be 4/3 as well. Just check your calculation, Eunice, if you use the right order or if your signs are correct, all of that. And then because these gradients are the same, we can say that they are parallel. I think Bonolo got that right. He said that they are parallel. Well done. And then Kinsani is also saying that it is parallel and then giving us a nice explanation there for that. Okay, Eunice, just double check your calculations. All right, let's go back. And who's going to do question B for us? Sipokasi. Oh, LMNOPQRS. QRS. Sipokasi, you had to do question C. So I'm going to hand over to Ntombizodwa. Ntombizodwa, can you do B for us?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, gradient of AB, I said 1 divided by 1 minus -3 divided by 2 minus 1.
Yeah.
Which gave me 4/1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the gradient of CD, I said 3 minus -1 divided by 7 minus 4, which gave me 4/3.
Yeah. So are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither?
Is not parallel.
They're not parallel, and they're also not perpendicular because you don't have the two numbers multiplying together to give you -1. So they just random lines, nothing in common. Okay, thank you so much, Ntobi Zodwa. And then our last one, someone, Q to Z. Okay, now Sipokasi. So Sipokasi had their hand up earlier, so I'm going to give it to them to do. Okay, let's hear Sipokasi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi there.
Ma'am, for AB, I got 4, and for CD, I got 1/-4. So they are perpendicular.
Wonderful, well done, Sipokasi, that's right. Okay, so we get 4 and -1/4 for the gradients, which means the lines are perpendicular. Excellent. Okay. Right. Well done, guys. We're going to do one last exercise, and we're going to kind of put together everything you've done so far with distance, gradient, and midpoint. So I think let's do that again. That worked quite well. We've got enough time, but I think let's just do these ones. And then let's do those same groups again for question 1. What did I say? It was A to K, L to P, Q to Z. A to K, L to P, and Q to Z. Okay, so we're going to do it in those groups again, but this time around, you need to calculate the length, the gradient, and the midpoint. I'll put the distance formula here for you so that in case you forgot it. Although in grade 10 you don't get a formula sheet and you should know your formulas off by heart. Okay, and then the midpoint, do I need to put the midpoint up? Just put it in the chat if you need the midpoint. Let me put it up just in case. x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And then the gradient we just did. Okay, so off we go. Let's do another 3 minutes or so for this question, and then we'll check in at about 17:41 for your answers. Just let me know which part I must repeat, Bomb, because I'm not quite sure at which point you lost us. So just let us know. So if you're talking about the formula, that's the distance formula that you use to calculate the length of a line between two coordinates. And you are in the first group, so you're going to calculate length, gradient, and midpoint for those 2 points. Okay, so let's see who's ready from the first group from A to K to give us the answers for the length, the gradient, and the midpoint. Put your hand up if you are ready. Okay, Bubbles, then you have to put your hand up. Put your hand up and unmute and tell us your answers. Right, guys, if you're done, remember you need to put your hand up and tell us what your answers are and how you got them. Yes, go for it, Bubbles. You can unmute.
Good day, ma'am.
Hi there.
Ma'am, for the distance or the length,
Yeah.
for number 1, I got the square root of 8.
Okay. So let's go through that one quickly. So you would have had 5 minus 7 squared plus 4 minus 6 squared. And then 5 minus 7, let's do that on the calculator quickly. Let's just check your answer here. 5 minus 7 plus 4 minus 6 squared. I think you must just double check because I get 2 root 2. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's the same thing. It's just that
yeah,
I didn't.
correct.
Oh, you didn't simplify it.
Yes,
Okay.
The
Remember,
I don't
you
think they do
must.
rational. I don't think they do rationalizing surds in grade 10, though, ma'am.
Yeah, but they
So-
can put it into the calculator. The calculator can rationalize it. So in future, just always make sure that you put it into the simplest surd form.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then your gradient?
For gradients, ma'am, I got 1.
Yes, I agree. And then for your midpoint?
I also got 1.1.
1.1 for your midpoint.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's do this together. We go 5 plus 7 divided by 2, and then 4 plus 6 for the y's divided by 2, and that's 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your midpoint, the coordinates should be 6 and 5. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am, I made a mistake.
Oh, no worries. No worries, it's all good.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thanks for answering. Okay, well, right. Who's next? Group L to P. Kensani, it doesn't matter if we start with 5 or with 7. If you wanted to go 7 minus 5 and then 6 minus 4, as long as that order remains the same. Okay. Is this Medinio? You can unmute.
It's Chantal.
It's actually Chantal.
It is.
Great stuff, Anam. I'm glad you got that right. Okay, you're up. Let's hear
Hello,
from
ma'am.
you, Chantal.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay, ma'am. So for my midpoint, I got 5/6.
Say again.
For my midpoint, I got 5/6.
Okay, but the midpoint must have 2 coordinates. It must have an x coordinate and a y coordinate.
Okay. Is a -2 and 2 +2?
-2. And then the other one's going to be -3 plus 7 is 4 divided by 2, and that's 2. That's right. Okay. And then
My
for
gradient
yeah,
is 5/6.
5/6. Lovely. And then your distance?
My distance, I'm not sure of it, but it gave me -62.
Okay, let's do that one together quickly. So we need to take the -8 and subtract the 4, not the 3, the 4, and square it, and then it's -3 minus 7 squared. Okay, so I think maybe there was just a mistake somewhere with the signs, because your distance should never be negative. Okay. Okay, so let's put that into the calculator, and then we get -8 minus 4 squared plus -3 minus 7 squared. And that should give you 2 root 61 on the calculator. Okay, but well done, Chantal. Excellent. Who's going to
Thank
do
you,
the
ma'am.
last one for us? Yeah? Someone said, ma'am. Okay, so Kiwa, or you had your hand up last time as well, so you can do it. Let's hear.
Hello, ma'am.
Sakiwo.
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I hear you.
Hello. So for the distance, I got 4 root 2.
4 root 2. Okay, I haven't actually worked this one out myself, but I can do that quickly. So what did you say? Did you say -8 minus
bracket
-4? And then you said -3 minus -4, -7, like that, and then square root 4 root 2. I do agree with you. Well done. Let's write that there, 4 root 2. And then for your gradient,
I got -1.
okay, so we're going to go -3 minus -7 over -8 minus -4. And that gives us 4 over -4. Yep, that's right. And that gives me -1. And what did you get?
I got -1.
Okay, wonderful. And then your midpoint?
I got -6 and -5.
Because we're going to add the -8 and the -4. That's -12 divided by 2 gives me -6. And then -3 and -7 is -10 divided by 2 is -5. Excellent. Well done, Sakiwo.